thank you for my book.
Oh, you're so welcome. All the way from Atlanta, Georgia to Australia.
And I love the personal message. Thank you.
It's available Amazon and Barnes & Noble online. Any format. Barnes & Noble, I think, does a format called Nook, and Amazon does a format called Kindle, which is the ebook versions. And then, of course, paperbacks are on both Barnes & Noble and Amazon.
Mm-hmm. And that's the two outlets that you...
That's right, for right now.
Okay.
And I just wrote, like, I've only written 2 books, but I wrote the first one in 2017, and I decided to put it out there as an indie author in December of 2019. And then I wrote Hit Zero in January and February, and then I spent the rest of the time, March, April, May, and June, and July, editing. The editing process takes much longer, usually sometimes, than the writing process, depending on how smoothly the story flowed. But this particular story, like I said, it just kind of came a little bit more naturally. In Hit Zero, there is a situation where the main character's father has not been in her life for about 8 years. So she has put that hurt way down and kind of hid it. And, you know, one of the reasons why she ended up with this second chance and this opportunity is because she was kicked off of her all-star team for something that she had done during the school year right before Christmas break. And she had been dared to do it by a group of friends. She was not hanging out with the right crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she goes to Texas, you see her meet someone new friends, excuse me, new opportunities, and you see how those people are kind of helping her to get over some of the hurt, because her dad does come back, and I'm probably giving away too much of the story, but you see that relationship and how she learns to forgive someone who hurts her, who has hurt her in the past.
Mm-hmm.
So you see that and how she goes about doing that through some of the influences that she meets along the way.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic lessons to learn in books. It's a great message.
It's almost like a bad situation that happens, but then you see how along the way there's some good things that come out of this. So you kind of see the progression there and the good things that come out of something that might not necessarily be the best situation, or the best, you know, the past versus the future, or, you know, becoming, and how she develops as a person herself and makes decisions and choices. So the tagline on the book and on the paperback, it's actually right here, and that says, "Life is uncertain. You need faith like a flyer, and to know someone will catch you when you fall." So the flyer is the person who's, you know, on top of the pyramid, on top. They're being thrown up in the air and caught with one hand. Some of these boys are really strong and can catch these girls with just one hand.
Wow.
So they'll throw them up and they'll catch them. And the girl will be literally, one foot will be here, the other foot will be up next to her knee, and her hands will be up in the air. And it takes a lot of, obviously, strength on both parts, but a lot of practice. But that's what a flyer, most of the job is. They're very small, petite people that can be thrown up in the air and caught. But I kind of tied it into, you don't really know what's going to happen in your life. You don't know what the next day is going to hold or the next day is going to bring. So you need to understand, obviously, that it's uncertainty, but what does that mean for me today? How do I cherish those little moments in my life and appreciate those little things on a daily basis? And that's kind of what it's saying. Life is uncertain, but have faith like a flyer, knowing someone will catch you. Your friends, your spouse, your best buddy, your, you know, whoever is important to you, you know, that person's got your back. You know, it's kind of what I'm saying there.
Fantastic.
And one of the ladies in my book club proofed my Hit Zero book for me. She was looking for errors and things like that before it went out. And she said, "Thank you for giving me a copy." I sent it to my granddaughter, who's 15 and lives in New Jersey, and she read it in 2 days and asked if she could loan it to a friend who wanted to read it. And she said that her granddaughter had tried out for cheerleading and didn't make the team, but after reading Hit Zero is enthusiastic and can't wait to try out and do it again and give it another shot. And I really appreciated her saying that, because hearing that someone I don't even know that lives in New Jersey loved my book, read it in 2 days, and then gave her the motivation to say, you know what, I can do this. I'm going to try again. I'm going to try out for that team again. And it just really touched my heart. It touched my soul. It's like, that's why I write, because I want someone to feel something. You know, you want that connection with something that you've written with somebody and have it kind of move them.
100%. How long did it actually take you to write the book?
It took me a couple of months to write Hit Zero. The story came pretty quickly. And then I spent about 5 months in the editing process. And sometimes you have to take a break, like a couple of weeks from looking at what you've written, and then go back with fresh eyes. And when you go back with fresh eyes and read it again, you can see things that are wrong, see things that need to be improved. But the other thing is, you need good beta readers. You need friends that'll read it and be honest with you. And that's the thing that is so important. It's like, you want it to get better. And because I've only written 2 books, this is only my second novel that I've written. So I wasn't used to writing. You know, I wasn't used to writing a book. It was all new to me. I had to learn how to do it. So with Walking the Crimson Road, that was my learning book, learning how to book. And of course, the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it. The more practice you have, the more you put into it, the better you're going to get. And having someone be honest with you and say, you know what, this conversation that they're having is too one-dimensional. It needs to be slower, or you need to add more connection. They need to be saying something else. You need it to be more realistic, or, you know, lead into this paragraph with something else. Change that, add this, take that away. Don't say that, say it this way. And then once you have all those things done and you feel like you've got the story the way you want it for the most part, and then it goes to an editor, a professional editor, and then they give their opinions, and then they mark it all up and say, nope, that is not correct. You need to, you know, because I'm not an English major, so you know, when someone who's an editor usually is an English major and that's their profession, and they can read your document and say, yep, we need a comma here. Nope, we need that word, don't use that. Nope, that needs to modify this. So you, and of course you learn from doing that too, because like I said, I was a fashion merchandising major. I was more, and that was when I was in college, that was in the 80s. And I was more into the brand names I was wearing and how I was dressed. And that was more important to me when I was in college than anything else. And that's why it never occurred to me that I would want to write novels later in life. And now learning and doing and having someone correct me and having someone give me their advice, and all of those things are very, very important. And you really want someone to be very honest with you about your work, because that's the only way you can get better, is to take the criticism and learn to improve from what criticism you get. And I can tell from book 1 to book 2, I feel like I did a better job. I can look at book 1 and say, you know, the story is fine. It might be a little slow before you get past chapter 20, and then it gets better because you can see the progression in writing. And a lot of people have noticed that. They can see the progression in writing and Walking the Crimson Road as it gets closer to the end of the book. And then, of course, I have fans that are from the University of Alabama, and they went to college there, and they're like, I love that book.
And then, are you working on any books now?
I plan to write a sequel to the first one, to Walking the Crimson Road. And the title of that one will be My Blood Runs Crimson, which is going to be a code word within the story. So they're going to use that as a code word, and it's going to be a little bit more mysterious. Part of it's going to be a little bit kind of uncovering a little bit of, there's a secret society on campus that controls elections and student government elections on campus. And the main character has been tapped into this secret society, and so she's now involved in it. But when the sequel comes around, she's going to be the editor for the newspaper on campus, and she will have a little bit more kind of ears around campus on a lot of things that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she's going to dive a little bit more into the secret society, and is it something that's causing too much disturbance within campus? And so she's going to kind of check that out, and there's going to be a little bit of dangerous things that occur. And so My Blood Runs Crimson is going to be a code word that they'll use to kind of be, the secret. I'm an okay person, me, because, they have the code word. And so she knows to trust that person if they have the same code word.
Right. Cool. Mystery. Love a mystery. Bit of mystery.
I haven't, obviously I haven't written a mystery, so I'm going to try my best to write something that's a little bit more mysterious, and trying to be a sleuth and figure it out.
Oh, good on you. Play with it. See what comes of it.